Hello everybody, Natalia here, and today I am back with another Write With Me episode. So today is Saturday, March 4th. It is 11:15 a.m. right now, and I did already write a little bit this morning when I woke up. So I am currently working on chapter 13. I wrote scene 1 yesterday, and that was only 300 words, and now I am working on scene 2. And so far this morning I have written 345 words. So I am going to go ahead and get started on chapter 13, scene 2. One of the reasons I wanted to do this episode today is because the past few days I haven't been writing very much. I wrote a really fun, exciting, kind of drama-filled scene maybe like 4 or 5 days ago, and after that scene I fell into another slump where I was like, okay, I have to work on my transition scenes again, go back to my kind of planning board, figure out exactly what's coming up next. So I wanted to do this today because I always get a lot of work done on these Write With Me episode days, and I need to just push through this kind of dragging section that I'm working on. I am going to go ahead and get started, check back in a little while, and I will let you know how it's going. All right, bye. Alright, it is 12 o'clock, which means I have been writing for about 45 minutes now, and my word count is sitting at 1,107 words, which is great for just the past 45 minutes. I'm really happy about this scene I've been working on, and I want to chat with you about it because I feel like I've really been keeping everything about my novel kind of secret and hidden, and I have received a few comments from my viewers of wanting to know a little bit more about my story and more about kind of how my writing is going, not so much on a quantitative basis, but kind of a qualitative basis. So the scene I am working on right now is one of Charlotte, who is my main character, and she is going into town with her grandmother. They are going to an old kind of herbal shop that's in Old Town Mapleton, which is where they live. And this town is based very loosely off of a place that I used to live. It had a beautiful main street with all these like quaint, adorable little shops on either side of the street, and it was just a place that really felt like it had that small town atmosphere and vibe, and I absolutely loved that. I don't live there anymore, but at least I'm able to kind of relive my experiences as my characters are living them. And this scene actually went really well. I just set up the beginning of it. I definitely haven't finished it. I haven't even gotten into the bulk of it. So this scene is probably going to end up being 2,000 or 3,000 words long. But this setup has been going really well, at least. So really, what I've been doing this morning in the past 45 minutes are building up the setting of Old Town Mapleton because it's the first time that the readers are experiencing it with the main character. So I've been describing, how the streets look, where the little shops are. There's a place in Old Town Mapleton called the Oval, and it's just in the center of this, of this old town. There's this massive moose statue that has a fountain and this beautiful pool of water under it. So I've been going into detail describing those kind of things. And then off of the Oval, there are a bunch of little kind of back alleyways, and there are a bunch of little shops located down those alleyways. And this herbal shop that Charlotte and her grandmother are currently going to is located down one of these back alleys, and I can picture it so clearly in my head. It has all these glass windows in the front, and you can barely see into the shop because there are so many plants just everywhere, and they're growing out of these little porcelain pots, and there are plants sprouting out of like old cowboy boots and tennis shoes and stuff. So it's a really kind of quirky, quaint little shop that's just full of plants. And my character is somebody that believes very strongly in the energy of natural things. So as she steps into this shop, she can feel kind of the buzzing energy that all these plants are giving off. And it's interesting because these are beliefs that I have, and they're translating into my character in a way that I didn't think they would. I've written, this is going to be the 3rd book that I've published, and in all my experiences, my characters have had a few qualities that are similar to the qualities that I have, but I've never intentionally set out to write a character that is just like me. I have never written a character that is just like anybody that I know in my real life. But it's interesting because Charlotte is definitely exhibiting a lot of qualities that are similar to my own, and I'm interested to see where I go with this character. If you're a writer as well, you probably understand the whole phenomenon of characters kind of just arriving and demanding that you write their story. And I don't know if I've talked about this in any of my past videos, but when I write a character, I don't feel like I'm forcing them or really creating them to be something specific. When I'm writing a character, they very much build themselves and they come to me pretty fully formed, and then I just have to write a story that is true to their character. So it's interesting that Charlotte's character is ending up to be so much like my own personality and my own character. So I guess we'll just see where this goes. So that was a long little chat there, but it is just after 12 o'clock now. I've written 1,107 words, and I'm just gonna keep on going and then update you in a little bit. All right, bye. All right, it is 1:05, and I am taking a short writing break now. I am currently sitting at 1,773 words. I'm right in the middle of a really fun scene with some really troublesome fairy creatures, so I'm definitely going to be excited to get back to this later. But I have to go and run some errands. I'm going to go to the library and pick up a bunch of these like medieval books and films that I put on hold there. So I will probably be getting back here in a few hours, and then I will update you later this afternoon when I'm writing again. All right, bye. All right, I am back. It is 3:25 right now, and I am going to do a writing sprint for 15 minutes. So I'll check back in 15 minutes. Hopefully I can reach about 300 words. That's my goal, and I will let you know how I do. All right, so the 15 minutes are up, and I actually surpassed my goal of 300 words. I ended up writing 571 words in the past 15 minutes, and that puts me at 2,344 words so far for today. I'm feeling really good about this scene I just wrote. I'm about to just go out and get some lunch, and then when I get back, I will get right back to writing and let you know how it goes. All right, bye. Hello and good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday, February 5th, and it is about 10 a.m. So I ended up filming all of my writing segments yesterday, but I ended up going downtown for dinner last night, and then I didn't get home until really late, so I didn't end up filming the kind of closing segment and my final thoughts on what I wrote yesterday. So I wanted to talk to you about that. So I did end up writing 2,344 words yesterday, which is fantastic. That last 15-minute writing sprint was a lot of fun, and I actually got a lot of words written. I can't believe it. I wrote 571 words in 15 minutes, and my goal had been 300 words, so that went really well. And I think I might be doing these more often now, and I'll probably be posting them on my Twitter as well so that you guys can join me if you're writing at the same time as me. But the scene I wrote yesterday ended up being a bit of a surprise because I knew that this scene was going to be in the book. I just didn't know where I was going to put it yet. And yesterday I was just thinking, you know what? I'm in kind of a transition phase. My characters are going through, there's one dramatic scene, there's another dramatic scene coming up, and I needed something in the middle to kind of keep myself going and to keep readers going eventually. So I decided to go ahead and throw this scene in there, and it ended up being a really, really good time. I had been having some frustrating writing days this past week. So yesterday was great to just sit down and just write and to force myself to write as much as I could, because not only did I get myself through that kind of slump that I was finding myself in, but it kind of renewed my excitement for the upcoming scenes. So if you're experiencing something similar to what I've been going through this past week and you're trying to get through a difficult scene and it's just not really working for you, maybe try one of these kind of write with me days and just sit down and dedicate as much time in one day just to working on your book. Now, whether you write 500 words, 5,000 words, it doesn't really matter as long as you're really making progress on your work. Mew, can you get off that? Because that's what I've really found is great about these episodes is not only am I able to show you guys kind of what my writing day looks like, but I get a lot done because I know that I'm filming and I know that I want to have something of quality to show for it. So it's been incredibly helpful along the way. So I did finish chapter 13, scene 2. I think I might be done with scene 2. I'm going to have to read through this again and see if I want to tie it off in a different way, but I do like the way the scene is finishing off right now, because it's kind of, it's not really a cliffhanger, but it's just a fun little kind of punchy line right at the end of scene 2. So I might go ahead and leave that. And then today's Sunday, I'm going to get to work on scene 3. And I'm assuming that chapter 13 will only be the 3 scenes, but I'm not positive yet. Now, I am posting photos on my Twitter of the images that are inspiring me as I'm writing. So if you are not following me on Twitter yet, I'm going to link it down below so that you can find me there. I'm posting like beautiful photos of the scene aesthetics. So what I've decided to do is when I post those photos, I'll say like chapter 15, scene 3, and then I'll put the photos so that eventually I can come back to this, and you can come back to this when you're reading the book, if you decide to read the book, and you can look at the exact pictures that were inspiring me as I was writing all of those scenes. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. So go ahead and check out my Twitter in the down bar, and then I'm also going to go ahead and link my Pinterest. I don't know why I haven't done that before, but Raven Rose, thank you for asking me about it yesterday on Twitter, because it just completely escaped my mind. Like I've been saving all these beautiful pictures and sharing them on social media, but I never shared the link to my actual Pinterest board. So that will be down there as well. Thank you so much for watching this third Write With Me episode, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, bye everybody.